Ladies and gentlemen, the most game-breaking set is finally out there. The Northern Traveler set has secretly been released today afternoon. All you have to do is go into your Helix store or into your club, and then you see it's for free. Can you believe it? Ubisoft is finally giving us something for free. Just reload your club and then you can claim it, and you will immediately get all these items in-game and unlock all the engravings as well. That is so fundamentally broken, this set. I tell you, I had made a build and I can't really hold back on how game breaking it is. It's totally breaking this game in a way that you won't believe is even possible. The thing is that it really focuses a lot on these Ares madness, and I already teased you that we will get a 50% cooldown time reduction for every kill, and that means you really have to kill only 2 people. We now kill like 2 people, 2 random civilians here, then we can immediately use Ares Madness again. You suddenly see that it is refilled and we can simply see it again. That is working on civilians, it's working on normal enemies, it's working even on animals. You only have to kill 2 guys, even if it's an enemy or civilian, immediately refill, then do another Ares Madness, deal insane amounts of damage, and you will always be invincible during that time period. So that is the crazy thing. We can now use this ability as often as we want to. Normally that has a 2-minute cooldown, but with this ability, with this set bonus, we can really do it every 3 seconds and be invincible for the whole game. That is so sick. Just check out what we do here in the arena. We activate it, we blast everything away with the activation damage, and then we can do a single Ring of Chaos to refill that ability and use it again. You can simply use Ring of Chaos, Ares Madness, Ring of Chaos, Ares Madness again and again. That is so sick, and that's what makes this build the most game-breaking build ever. And now let's take a closer look on everything this cool build is really doing. We have over 8.2 million damage with the Ares activation, and we can even refill it on simple animal kills to kill off all the mercenaries around you with that super strong instant blast. Then we have 1.7 million damage for the light and heavy attacks. We have around 1.9 million damage for the charged heavy attack, doing 2 swings in total, so potentially 2 times 1.9. We have 2.3 million damage for Ring of Chaos when we attack from behind. We have even almost 10 million damage with the overpower attack, which is just ridiculously strong. And we did not even attack from behind or overnight, so that can be much stronger as well. Of course, this set will also deal insane amounts of hunter damage, 4.7 million with the devastating shot, and even more than 2 million damage with the multi-shot. Of course, you can also rush assassinate every enemy and mercenary in the game. It's quite not enough to do normal assassinations, but that's quite okay for that crazy build. In the inventory you see we have 175,000 warrior damage, which is outstanding, really awesome. And then we also have 508,000 assassin damage. That's needed because we want to use Ares Madness, the advanced ability of Battle Cry of Ares, as often as possible, because all these perks here from the Northern Traveler set are meant to be used for Ares Madness. And that is the crazy thing, we have to get a lot of assassin damage, so we will convert all our warrior damage to get as much assassin damage for our Ares Madness. I will spare you with the damage calculation this time. What is most important is that of course our weapon damage, damage with heavy blades and critical damage will deal the most damage here when we engrave that, and we should focus on these engravings first before we look into any other. And of course you can also find the damage calculation for this specific build in the description of this video as usual. For our left melee weapon we will use the Dane axe, the axe that comes with this set, and that has really awesome stats. It has warrior damage, damage with heavy blades, so the biggest damage driver is already engraved on that weapon. And then we have also 50% damage with Battle Cry of Ares, and that damage also looks like it is amplifying our Ares Madness as well. So that is a really crazy axe, and we should definitely use it when we make the Ares Madness build. And we will directly engrave the most important legendary engraving here, convert 50% warrior damage bonus to all damage. That gives us a ton of assassin damage out of our warrior damage, because we have a warrior set here, but we need assassin damage to use Ares Madness. So we have to use this damage conversion to get the most out of this set. The second weapon will be a perfect axe, and I choose it to be an assassin axe with assassin damage, damage with heavy blades and critical damage. Of course, if you don't have an assassin axe, you can also use a warrior axe where the first engraving is in warrior damage, but I wanted to get more out of my Ares madness and therefore I picked here assassin. What's most important is that it has damage with heavy blade weapons and critical damage. And then we engrave the 100% damage increase from the Fox of Olympus. Of course, if you don't like to play with the reduced health cap, then of course you can also engrave 30% all damage or just 20% warrior or 20% assassin damage instead. But since Ares madness makes you invincible every time you use it, there's really no point in not using the Fox of Olympus engraving here. So I would really encourage you to do it because you have an insanely strong invincible build. As our bow, as usual, we use the Bighorn Bow because that is a glitched item. It uses all the 6495 DPS and puts it on our left legendary warrior axe, and therefore we get 170,000 warrior damage instead of the 105,000. We would get 105,000 damage only when we use a normal warrior bow. So really get the Bighorn Bow, it is a game changing item. It is really almost doubling your warrior damage out of nowhere, and Ubisoft hasn't patched it yet. And there was an update and they haven't patched it, so Ubisoft just likes getting money when everybody buys it from the Helix store, but I would recommend you to use your 200 free Helix credits to get that item for free if you still have it. But the good thing is you don't need the Bighorn Bow for this build, you can just use any other bow, for example the Fanged Bow or another assassin bow that deals a lot of damage, maybe the Bandit Bow with assassin damage and critical damage. That would be probably the best bow to use, because if you only want to focus on Ares madness, then having more crit damage and assassin damage is the best thing to do. But if you want to have the crazy hybrid here with the insane warrior damage, then of course the Bighorn Bow. On the gear items we have some graphical issues here, because normally legendary items were not meant to have 3 primary engravings and then another 4th engraving on them. Normally the set bonus is displayed here at the bottom, and the set bonus is still there, so you don't have to worry that you lose it when you engrave your items. The set bonus is still applied, it is still in the background of this item when you engrave all your items. But the game simply cannot display it due to some graphical limitations, so when you engrave it you simply place another engraving on top of where normally the set bonus is displayed. So don't worry, it is still applied and we can still engrave them. The Northern Traveler's helmet comes with warrior damage, a 5% all damage bonus for whatever reason, it is not a really big bonus, 50% critical damage, and we engrave 20% crit chance while full health on it. The arms are a bit disappointing. We have warrior damage, critical damage, and then a stupid adrenaline engraving. Adrenaline engraving is normally something I completely dismantle when I see it, because adrenaline is so easily to get when you just invest a couple of points into your masteries, so it's much more valuable to increase your damage. For example, the crit chance or the 100% critical damage is really missing here on that item, but we have to engrave 10% crit chance to get to 100%, so in fact we lose out on the 100% crit damage here sadly. The belt is better, we have warrior damage, a 5% all damage bonus, then 10% crit chance, and here we can still engrave the 100% crit damage. The torso is actually a perfect heavy blade torso. We have warrior damage, 30% damage with heavy bladed weapons, 50% crit damage, and then we can engrave another 20% damage with heavy weapons. That will increase our heavy blade damage in total of 50%. But the boots again are really crap. We have warrior damage, we have a 5% all damage bonus, then elemental damage, and we have to engrave 20% critical chance. So on the boots again we lose out on another 100% critical damage. So in fact we lose 200% critical damage, which we could easily get in an epic set normally. But the set is still a very good set. It has by far not the best stats when it comes down to critical damage and damage overall, but it has the best set bonus from all the sets we have in this game. It's even better than anything else, better than Shadow of Nyx I would say, and better than the Nemean Lion set engraving. Just imagine having an ability that normally has a 2-minute cooldown duration, which makes you invincible, deals millions of damage, cut it down to be just refilled in a couple of seconds. That's a game-breaking feature. In the summary we see we have 325% warrior damage, 311 assassin damage, we have 140% damage with heavy bladed weapons, that's the maximum we can get, we have 100% crit chance and 475% critical damage. As I said, we lose around 200% critical damage when we use the Northern Traveler set over the Nemean Lion set or better epic sets. The basic version of this build will require you to have around 166 ability points to make it, but of course you can also make it if you have less than that. You should go for 6 Sense, 2 points on Arrow Master to unlock fire and poison arrows, use multi-shot and devastating shot. If you want to, you can also go for Predator shot. Archery Master is mandatory because it refills your first adrenaline segment, and then if you want to, you can also unlock the ghost arrows additionally. In the warrior tree you should go for the charged heavy attack as usual, very powerful also with heavy blades. Then pick up the passive abilities here with Weapons Master and Gear Master to get all the passive bonuses. Flaming attacks 1 point, and then go for the 40% fire mastery to increase your fire damage with fire arrows. Go for Overpower and unlock Ares Madness. Ares Madness is what is really important here in that build. You can get this ability when you play the first episode of Atlantis, the Fields of Elysium, and this ability has a bug. It is dealing tons of damage when you activate it in the normal Greek world. That is 7 times the amount of damage than normally. So when you deal only 1 million damage in Fields of Elysium, you will in fact deal over 7 million damage in the Greek world when you activate Ares Madness, and it sends out a blast that will blast away all your enemies around you. And when you do it so often here with the Ares Madness, you can activate it again and again, then it is insanely powerful. Then you should definitely also pick up Fury of the Bloodline and Ring of Chaos, because they are very important to refill Ares Madness. The easiest way to refill Ares Madness is just to use a single Ring of Chaos, kill more than one enemy, and then you can immediately use Ares Madness again. Then another mandatory ability, of course, Second Wind, to refill your health whenever needed. In the Assassin tree, of course, we go for Shadow Assassin for more crit damage and assassin damage, Rush Assassin, Hero Strike, and also for Stealth Master to increase our out of combat damage overnight. For our mastery points, we use only 12 points here on crit chance and another 12 points here on crit damage. That will give us the most out of our points, because the more points you invest, the smaller the bonus will get. Then in the Warrior tab, we go for 12 points on Warrior damage and 15 points on damage with heavy blades. We go for 12 points on assassin damage and 15 points on critical chance, critical damage while full health, and another 12 points on damage while full health. Since we mostly want to use Ares Madness, we focus more on things that really increase our assassin damage and not on armor penetration and elemental damage, because that is not needed when we use Ares Madness. However, if you have enough points and you don't have any of these issues, simply go all in here on crit chance, crit damage, headshot, and all the other hunter abilities. Then I also recommend you to put some ability points here on adrenaline on headshot kill, and especially the chance to not consume special arrows. That is really increasing your size of your quiver. Then have warrior damage increased, damage with heavy blades to maximum, fire damage if you want to, armor penetration, damage dealt restores as health, and a small general bonus to all our warrior abilities. In the assassin tab, we have then damage when time slowed down, assassin damage, the crit chance and crit damage maxed out, damage while full health maxed out, a couple of adrenaline points here, damage on elites and bosses, an additional cooldown duration reduction, and here a general damage increase for our assassin abilities that will also increase our Ares Madness ability by a slight amount. I hope you like this build. It is really amazing. It is not the best stats, but it has some game-breaking features that are really enjoyable and really fun to play with. Please don't forget to subscribe, leave me a like, and see you next time.